Right everyone, Web Vector here. Right, looks like this will be the final video to the Offensive Weapons Act series that I've been doing. This looks like this is the sort of end game to it. So, the UK and Ireland, parts of Ireland I think, are doing a surrender and compensation scheme running from today till the 9th of March. After the 9th of March, if you own any of the weapons on the offensive weapons list and some other stuff, you can be prosecuted for it. So, as far as I'm aware, it's been sort of okay till now, although this law had passed. After the 9th, that's when they're really going to be sort of acting on it, I suppose. So what I'll do today in this video is give you some info, how to get some compensation if you want to, and I'll even tell you some of the prices of the weapons, because to be honest, some of it is laughable. So if you didn't know this, in 2019 the Offensive Weapons Act was passed, meaning all of the stuff that used to be legal to own, that was classed as offensive weapons, are now illegal to own in your own home. A lot of people still don't know this, it's not a widespread thing. I'll quickly go over the stuff that's on that list, but I'm going to read this list again later anyway. So the items on the offensive weapons list that will be and are illegal to own in your own home are knuckle dusters, sword sticks, hand claws, belt buckle knives, push daggers, certain swords, straight side handled and friction locking truncheons, stealth knives, disguise knives, hollow coubatons with spikes inside, foot claws, throw-in stars, balisongs, telescopic truncheons, blowpipes, kurosari gamma, Kyuketsu shogis, and Manariki Gusari, so some certain ninja weapons. And then they've also added zombie knives and cyclone knives. So as I say, those are currently banned now, but you've got a sort of grace period of 3 months now to be able to hand those in. What I'll do in the description is I'll add a link to the information where you can get the application forms and more info where to send these items in and get your compensation. You will need proof of ownership. How you would do that I don't know. Receipts and other things I suppose. I don't know. What is proof of ownership apart from receipts? That would show that you own it, you bought it. And one thing I will mention later though, I would be very careful trying to claim certain items, because some of the items that are on this list have been illegal to import into this country for at least 32 years I think. So by claiming compensation on those, you could be admitting a crime in itself, a different crime. So I'll go over that later anyway. So let's go over some of the prices of the stuff that you would get for some of these items. Some of it is laughable in my opinion. So you've got flick knives, they'll give you 20 quid for. Gravity knives, they'll give you 40 quid for. Zombie knives, £10. Cyclone knives, £30. Curved swords, £15. And again, there is a caveat to that, which I'll explain at the end. There are curved swords that you can still own. And certain weapons you can still own. Batons, £10. Stealth knives, £3. Disguise knives, £5. Knuckle dusters, £2. Knuckle dusters are worth at least 10 times that. Sword sticks, 12 quid. Hand claws, 9 quid. Belt buckle knives, 5 quid. Push daggers, 2 quid. Hollow coubatons, 3 quid. Foot claws, 7 quid. Throw-in stars, £5. Balisongs, 9 quid. Telescopic truncheons, 20 quid. They're not worth that most of the time. Blowpipes, 14 quid. Kurosari gammas, 35 quid. Kurosari, 10 quid. And the Kyuketsu's, 20 quid. Very strange, bizarre, random pricing there. I don't know who came up with those prices. £2 for knuckle dusters. That's the lowest thing on there, I think. That's laughable. Yeah, I'll go over that as well though at the end. So, yeah. You will need proof of ownership. You know, how you do that, I don't know. Right, let's go on to... What I will mention is what swords are legal and what aren't, and how you can prove it. I'll just go back to that illegal importing thing. Yeah, I would be very careful about that. I'm pretty sure flick knives, gravity knives, knuckle dusters, and a couple of other things have been illegal to import into this country since 1988, I think it was. I may be wrong about that. So by claiming compensation on a knuckle duster that you bought 5 years ago, you could be admitting to illegally importing it. What kind of crime that is, I don't know. What punishment you could get for that, I don't know. But you would be handing in evidence for that, basically. Or you may not. They may not take that in consideration. But I'm just putting that out there for you, so that you're aware of that. Oh yeah. So swords and weapons that are still legal. So if it's an antique, any of those weapons mentioned, if it's an antique, it's legal to own still. If you run a production company or, you know, you hire these weapons out for that kind of thing, they're still legal. Museum, it would still be legal. And there's a couple of other things. You can read this in the link below. It will tell you all of that. Yeah, so there some things are still legal, but most collectors won't have the ability to keep these things. Swords. So, antique swords or swords that were made... I'm going to read you out exactly what it says, because this is quite a good... I've got a thing printed out here for my own benefit, so that if I ever have to show this information, I can show you how to do this if you want. So, swords. So this is one of the defences for a curved sword over 50 centimetres. So if it is shown that the weapon was made before 1954 or was made at any other time according to traditional methods of making swords by hand. So what I've got here is some information showing that my Japanese Otsu sword is pre-1954, because it was, I think it's 1930s that was made, something like that. And I've got some printed out info here. If you have a new katana, there possibly is a way to prove that is handmade. So again, the same thing, it is shown that the weapon was made before 1954 or was made at any other time according to traditional methods. So in this one, to prove that my new katana is handmade, I've got the receipt for it, where I bought it, and then on the website to where I bought it, I've deliberately highlighted information saying that all of the swords they sell are handmade in multiple places, where they say hand-forged samurai swords, and an image of the sword from their website, and then a section from their frequently asked questions saying that they only sell handmade katanas or samurai swords. Just there. So that's the closest I can prove that my sword is handmade. Surely they would have to take it out of the company who sold it me, because they're then selling illegal swords basically. So yeah, I hope that helps. Now you know you have 3 months from today, or it's yesterday actually, to hand in all of the items I mentioned on the offensive weapon list. Everything else is still fine. You can still own multiple different kind of knives, daggers, machetes, bowie knives, cheap curved swords that are under 50 centimetres. You can own cheap straight swords or any straight swords, crossbows, deactivated guns, replicas and airsoft. It's all fine. There's loads and loads of things. The only thing you'll have an issue with are the things on that list. There are firearms on the list as well, but I'll let some firearms video makers discuss that because they'll have a lot more info than I would on the firearm stuff. It'll be in the description anyway. They are giving out compensation for firearms as well. Oh, the one thing I found absolutely laughable, I do not understand how this is happening. I looked through the list of things they'll give you compensation for. One of them was sling mounts. Right, so one, sling mounts are not illegal. Two, they're offering £50. So I might take the sling mounts off of my air rifle, off of get myself some new guns. No, not really. But yeah, isn't that bizarre? £50 for sling mounts. They're not illegal. 2 little bits of metal with rings on. I don't know what's going on there. Unless they have to be part of a gun already, you know, expensive gun you got handed in. But there are some firearms on there. And things like bump stocks. So yeah, hopefully that's given you an idea of what's going on. You've basically got till the 9th of March to hand in any of the weapons on the offensive weapons list. After that, there will be 100% legal to own in your own home, and you can't get any more compensation for them after that date. The compensation will only be from now till March the 9th next year. Before I go, if you would like any information on swords, I can do a separate video on that. And if you've got a sword that you're not sure whether it's handmade or not, I've also got a video on that showing you the difference between a handmade sword and a cheap stainless steel sword that would be illegal now. And as I said, if they're handmade, it's legal. If they're made before 1954 or antique, they're still legal. And if they're under 50 centimetres, they're legal. See, this is a cheap sword, but it's under 50 centimetres now, the blade, so it's still legal. So there you go. Hope you found it helpful. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. If you ever wanted to support this channel, there's a link below saying one-off donations. Helps me make these kind of videos because I am completely demonetised and I don't get anything from YouTube, and this is actually my job. So yeah, the link's below. It says Ko-fi/weapon collector, and you buy me a coffee, and that goes, and the money from that coffee just goes straight into my PayPal. You can help support me that way. Alright, I hope you found it helpful. I hope you enjoyed the video. I say enjoyed, you know, how much can you enjoy being told you got to hand in your weapons. Alright, see you in the next one.